Good morning, everyone.
So happy.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the fantasy version of the Reconstructing History podcast. Google Meet now has backgrounds you can put on things. So I've got, little leaves blowing behind me. There's a little fox right there. Right there.
You're a little
My
fuzzy
finger is
around.
disappearing.
You're fuzzy around the edges.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of, trippy. Anyway, this is the first podcast we've recorded since I've been back. First full podcast, and we are still in different rooms.
We're always in different rooms, though. I mean, ever since you came to work for the business in 2008, we haven't worked in the same room. I mean, people have often said to me, "How do you work with your husband? I've seen you two. You fight like cats and dogs," and I'm like,
Yeah.
We don't fight like that's the Cass and Bob show. We don't really fight like cats and dogs, but it's true. If we were trying to do the same, if we were trying to do our work in the same space, we would likely hurl things at each other.
Yeah.
Because we're both only children and we both like to do our thing,
the way
alone.
We like to do it, the proper way.
Yeah. And I remember when you came to work for the business and I handed over folding and packing patterns to you. There was this moment where I was watching you do it and I kind of went like the mother who sees her child falling and wants to go and catch it.
Yeah.
And I just went, leave the room, just leave the room. And I turned on my heel and left the room because you don't fold patterns like I fold patterns. But you still fold them correct enough. I mean, they get in the package. And then when you left back in December to go visit your parents, there was that moment where you were teaching me how to fold and send the patterns and everything. Mm-hmm. And you were like, no, you don't fold it like that. And I was like, fuck off.
You owe me. Yeah.
I folded you. It's time for you to leave. And I remember the first batch of patterns that I sent that I folded and packed and labeled and everything myself. It took me 2 days to get through what now takes me an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because it just, nothing happens. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I was doing this the other day with some pattern software stuff, and it will literally take days and sometimes weeks to do these things to a pattern, like to make it a made to measure pattern.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
The initial process to make it a made to measure pattern takes a long time. But when you have a pattern, for example, like 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven is a stays pattern. 833 is a stays pattern. I did 7-Eleven first, and that took a long time. But then when I went to do 833, I opened 7-Eleven, looked at what I did, and went boop, 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 and done.
Yeah.
Because it's the same kind of thing and you just do it again. And it's always been amazing to me from, I don't know, back in the day when we were doing time and efficiency studies on factory workers in my economics class or something, management class. I don't know. It was a class and I took it, and you had to sit there you stood there with a clipboard.
Uh-huh.
The clipboard had a timer in it that you could surreptitiously start the timer without anyone know you're timing them. So it looks like you're standing there with a clipboard, you're taking notes on what someone's doing, and what you're doing is timing them.
What a dick move.
Yeah, it's evil. But I mean, what it's meant to do is basically what you do is you time the person who gets everything done really quickly, and you see how well they do it, and then you go teach their method to other people. So, yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like a dick move, but it's not a dick move because of the purpose. You're not timing them to say, oh, you need to be faster or else you're going to lose your job. You're timing the fast one to see what she does that's so much better than the others.
Okay.
And you do that to yourself when you're doing something, particularly on a computer, and you do a repetitive task. The first time you do it, is slow. But then the next time you do it, you do the same thing in the same order, and you kind of, you smooth off all the corners.
Right.
So instead of it being, okay, I'm going to do this and then I have to do that, you just go boop, 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 done,
It works.
Which I'm trying to do with the download files.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you've been working the hell out of those lately.
Oh, God. Yeah, I mean, basically, back in the day, when we first started doing downloads, when was that? 2013? Yeah. We did it like everyone does downloads. You take your pattern files and you tile them and you put them all in one big document and you allow people to download that.
Yeah.
And we got so many complaints with people about, this doesn't line up. I want to print it on my printer will do legal paper. I want to print it on legal. I want to print it on tabloid paper, all this kind of stuff.
I have a print shop that I want to take it to get full-size paper printed. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was mostly people just like, I have a slightly different paper size. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah, because we were doing what? US letter in day 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I decided, because I'm always for choices. I mean, this is why my patterns are complicated, because I give people too many choices and they get option paralysis.
Yeah.
But, I figured, okay, look, if you want the pattern in whatever size you want, I'm going to give you the pattern. And then I'm going to give you instructions for how to tile it. Mm-hmm. And, open the pattern in Adobe Acrobat, tile it. You can tile it at whatever size you want. You could tile it little index card size if you want. You could tile it in bigger, whatever your paper size is, you can tile it, or take it to a print shop and print the whole thing.
Sure.
So I went through every single pattern file we had, which granted, it wasn't as many as we have now, but I went through
300 some.
Yeah, we have almost 400 now.
Yeah.
But at the time we didn't have that many because we didn't have,
only 275.
Probably. I don't know that number off the top of my head, but we hadn't done, we just dipped our toes into like the vintage stuff, and now we have
still a metric shit ton.
It's a metric shit ton. It's a lot of patterns to go through and do this with. But I went through every pattern, and not only did I, put the full size version in there, but I also put in the size of the pattern in inches and centimeters in the pattern title. So, so you didn't have to look, because I didn't want anybody to have to look anywhere. You just, in the pattern title, and when we print them, this is useful, it being in the pattern title, because then you go, oh, I have to switch to wide paper or, whatever. And so I did all that work, and that was fine, really, for a long time. And, or we thought it was fine. When people had trouble with it, they emailed us and we said, oh, do this and this and this. And that was fine. But earlier this year, Apple, who are no friends of mine and have never been.
Yeah.
See previous podcast on Mac versus PC, which I'll link in a card, as YouTubers do. Apple changed stuff. Apple has always been kind of in a death match with Adobe anyway.
Right.
And Apple decided to not play nice with Adobe.
You say that, but go ahead.
Well, Apple decided to not play as nice with Adobe as they had been previously.
Okay.
And I mean, and this is what I've heard from people. So I might be incorrect, but I'm hearing it, secondhand, because I don't have a Macintosh, will not have one in my house. I'm not.
She says to the man who's this close to.
I'm honestly not really anti-Mac, but it pisses me off when software companies they try to do something new and they know their customers are using their stuff in conjunction with other software, and they don't make sure it works first or whatever. But Macintosh, in true Macintosh fashion, being the computer for people who don't like computers, They make everything really easy, and they continually make it easier and easier. And the problem is that simplicity, you can't do complicated things like tiling a poster with that simplicity. You have to go back to the difficult way to do it. And from what I understand, on a Macintosh, you open a file and like you hit the space bar and it prints. So it doesn't open the usual dialog box that lets you choose paper size and all that kind of stuff. So I have these Mac customers coming to me and going, I can't print this. And then somebody went on Etsy. This really pisses me off. Somebody went on Etsy and reviewed one of my patterns and said, you cannot print this without purchasing a separate program to print it.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
And of course, with Etsy, you can't even respond to the, because I mean, you could respond to the customer. Uh-oh.
What?
Hey, buddy, come here.
Oh, you have a dog.
Come here.
You have a dog.
Oh, let's see if we can be seen.
Oh, it's a puppy.
Oops. Blending into the background. There he is.
Oh, Flashy. Flashy. And Bernie. Hi, Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie's so punk. Yeah, so.
I don't know what he wants, but he wants something. I think maybe he wants to come into the other room and see you. So I'm going to go open some doors.
Oh, okay.
Or is he going to get back? No, he's getting back on his day bed.
Okay. Because I was going to say, why isn't he coming in here? Oh, the door's closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks for. Flash came in just at the right moment to break my building anger.
Yeah.
So
yes.
So thank you for timing the dog entering the shot to bring down my anger levels, because it really annoys me. I mean, Apple is a company that tries to make things simple for people. Apple is a company that tries to make computers, from the beginning. And the first computer I ever used in my life was an Apple or a Macintosh. It was actually a Macintosh,
mm-hmm.
And hell, after my stint in brokerage in New York, I owe my graphic design career to the fact that I could use a Macintosh and nobody else could.
Yeah, right.
And parlayed that into 10 years of graphic design. But, the problem is they're not playing nice with Adobe. So they have this wonderfully simple way. So a Mac user can just, hit the space bar. And if I'm wrong about that, please let me know in the comments. But a Mac using friend told me, you hit the space bar and it prints. And it's printing from print preview, so it doesn't have all the options in the dialog box. And the problem is not that. The problem is that someone got on Etsy and put it out there that you have to buy a program to use these patterns. And
Yeah.
I'm not, and okay, look, anything. You have to have Adobe Acrobat Reader, which is free.
Yeah.
It's free. It runs on a Mac. It runs on a PC. It does everything you want. And the problem with Etsy is that I have emailed this customer and said, would you please remove that? Would you please amend your review? Because that's not true.
Right.
And he hasn't responded to me at all. And I can't take it down. I can't do anything about it. So, it's, and the funny thing is he gives me a 4-star review and then complains. But the first line of his review is, I wouldn't have bought this if I knew you had to buy a paid program to use it. And that's what you see. Like, you don't even have to click on it.
And it's simply not true.
No. And I've had more people than not more people than not. I've had quite a few people since this review went up say to me, well, I can't afford a program. And I'm like, you need a program. So anyway, in the interest of listening to my customers and giving them what they want, I have now undertaken the mammoth project because, I wasn't doing anything else.
Yeah, right. You weren't working on made to measure or new men's stuff or anything like that.
Yeah, I wasn't busy. I wasn't busy at all. But So now basically I've gone back to, and I didn't have these patterns sliced. Like some of them I had sliced from back in
The
2000,
day.
the 2013. But I didn't have, I mean, God, there's so many of them now, So now you download a single PDF file and you can just, hit your space bar and print because it's all letter sized. It's all in one document. The document, the thing that you have to use to make sure that your printer is printing at the right, 100% is in the document. All the pattern notes, the front cover, the back cover, the historical notes, the instructions, and all the pattern pieces and the shrunk down pattern pieces, so you can see what it's supposed to look like when you put it together, are all there together. And there are little cut marks in the corners, registration marks to help you line it up. And there are numbers in the corners that tell you this is page 5 of 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
So, because I've gotten that complaint too. Why don't you number your pages? Pages are numbered. Upper left-hand corner. Put on your glasses. I know there are other pattern companies that go through and put full page numbers on top of everything. Guys, 380 patterns, and I'm not even done those. So I'm doing this. This does not mean that you can't have a full-size pattern. If you buy a download, you are entitled to a downloadable file. And while both Etsy and our site will download you this, desktop printer size PDF that you could print by going click and print without thinking about any kind of formatting. If you want a full-size pattern to take to a print shop, or maybe you have a wide format printer in your theater department or in your house, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
All you have to do is drop me a line at info@reconstructinghistory.com and say, hey, Cass, can I have the full-size version of this? And I will attach it to an email and send it to you, as soon as I see your email. And I never stop checking.
Lemon squeezy.
Yeah. And I never stop checking email. So I will send you, if I see your email on a weekend, I will send it to you. I won't send it to you in the middle of the night. That's the only thing. So it's not going to be as instantaneous as you download the downloadable file, because that happens upon purchase. But I'm also not going to muck up the back ends of the website, overload the back end of the website with the big files as well.
Oh yeah. And plus that tends to just confuse people. They'll download the wrong thing, or, how many times have we gotten emails from people who, I don't know where my download went.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So hopefully this makes it simpler. Hopefully this is the Apple version of printing patterns.
Let's hope.
Yeah. And honestly, if any of you guys have any feedback, please put it in the comments, or if you don't want it to be public, write to me at info@reconstructinghistory.com and tell me. I will take your suggestions on board, of course. Although, recognize the fact that if I have to make a change 400 times, unless I think it's a very important change, I'm not going to make it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm almost done doing these patterns. And if there's
a huge investment of time, and, that people should, I'm glad people are cognizant of that.
Yeah. And the reason I'm doing it in the first place is because people are having trouble with this. And I'm angry at Apple for, screwing things up, but I have to serve my customers. I can't not serve my customers.
Sure.
So, and also, if any of you know the guy who left the review that said you have to buy a paid program, go, shake him and tell him.
Better yet, if you bought one of our patterns through Etsy, or you bought that pattern through Etsy, because I don't know what Etsy's review policy is. Some sites won't let you leave a review unless you bought that specific item.
Yes, you have to buy. but his review comes up on other items as well. So if you've bought a pattern from us from Etsy, please leave a review and make the first line of the review.
No, you do not need to download any kind of paid program to use these patterns. You never have had to download any kind of paid program.
No, it's a misunderstanding. And when I wrote to him, I said, I wish you'd messaged me.
Yeah.
Before you left this review, because I could have told you how to do it for free.
Yeah.
Why did you break yourself when you could have, you're in the Etsy thing. All you had to do was click message seller.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Which a lot of people do. And then I can help them. And, I can't help you if you don't tell me. And it annoys me. It really annoys me. Not because this person, initially because this person had a hard time because he didn't ask me. But moreover, now other people think that they have to go and do something they perceive as expensive, which, and honestly, to buy Acrobat Distiller, it is kind of expensive. It's not.
Adobe stuff isn't cheap.
No, it's not something that you would buy unless you're a business who could write it off,
Yeah. We have it because we use it constantly.
Yeah.
This video will be edited using Premiere Pro and Premiere Rush.
Exactly. But
sponsorship, Adobe, you listening? Sponsorship.
Yeah.
We use Photoshop. We use Illustrator. I use Lightroom. I use InDesign, InCopy, Audition, Premiere Pro. Yeah, we use the whole bloody lot. So Adobe, if you're listening, sponsorship, maybe. Invade you?
And I've been an Adobe fan since before they made things for PCs.
That's how long you've had your Creative Suite subscription.
Yeah, and I had a person ask me this week, can I send her a file that's not a PDF, like other pattern companies? And okay, look, I don't know what my competition is doing because I don't buy their patterns. I don't spy on them. And
it's hard for me to imagine how they could be delivering patterns that aren't PDFs.
Yeah. So again, I appeal to you listeners, if you know what file format other pattern companies are using, could you let me know? Because the whole point of a PDF, I remember I worked for a company that was one of the first companies to partner with Adobe to use PDF. We did a new drug submission to the FDA. And we PDF'd all of the studies.
Yeah.
And, so we're scanning, literally a tractor trailer load full of studies in paper.
Wow.
And we scan them and PDF them. And, I go through the PDFs and make sure all the pages were turned the right way because they weren't. And yeah, because we scanned them, you didn't just toss them on a scanner. We sent them to a company that scans. It was crazy. And you do all this stuff in your home office now, but at the time it was brand new.
Yeah.
The whole point of PDF, PDF is portable document format. The whole point of a PDF is that you could send a file to someone and they don't have to have the program that made it.
Right.
And also, so they can't change it.
Yep.
So that it's static. So
yeah, it's like you send a Word file to someone with embedded pictures.
Yep.
And when they open that Word file, I guarantee you that file is going to look like it's going to be a mess.
Yeah. Why would you ever send a Word file? Why would you ever embed pictures in a Word file?
Ask. I have layout clients who, bless them, because Word will spit out a PDF.
Mm-hmm.
And Kabouter Games has layout clients that the PDF that Word spits out is perfectly acceptable for Drive-Through RPG or for the DMs Guild.
Mm-hmm.
But when they want to do it for print on demand, it is not satisfactory at all. So it needs to go to someone like me who knows how to lay it out and make it fit all the print specifications, which means, basically opening it in Word and then pulling it in InDesign.
Yeah. But
And
that being said,
recreating it element by element, because Word,
okay.
whenever I open it on my laptop, Word sends it everywhere. Word is notorious for it. But a PDF won't do that. What?
I mean, you got there in the end. The last thing you said was a PDF won't do that.
Right.
So it made it, but there was a commercial in there for Kabouter Games, and don't pretend there wasn't.
Of course there. KabouterGames.com.
I'm surprised when you were talking about, using Audition, there wasn't a BobTheVoice.com. BobSideHustles.com.
PayBobToDoStuff.com.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand what other file format is being.
I can't imagine what it might be.
What, Word?
No, I can't imagine what other file format people would be using. I don't.
Yeah. Because I mean, even if you sent it to people in Word, they have to have Word.
Yeah, and Word isn't free.
Yeah.
Word doesn't ship for free on Windows machines anymore. It certainly doesn't ship for free on Macintosh.
Yeah. And I don't know. Or are they sending a JPEG on a letter-sized JPEG? I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, because my goal is to make it as easy as possible for my customers. And honest to God, guys, if it was in my power, I would just beam a downloadable pattern to you and have it come out of your eyes and cut the fabric in front of you. Because that would be easy. That would be so easy.
That'd be yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to do, that's been my goal. Like, I've been talking about this for 10 years. I need to hire somebody to make a device, an app that'll be on everyone's phone, that'll project. They'll just hold their phone and it'll project from their phone the pattern onto the fabric, and it'll etch the fabric so you know where to cut it. So you don't have to hold your phone and cut at the same time. And that's like my goal in life, is to find someone who can invent these things to make this happen. Because I don't like the amount of paper that gets wasted in the pattern making process. And I know, we buy recycled paper and we have solar panels on our roof and all this kind of stuff, but it's an incredible waste of paper. And the amount of stuff, every time we have to put out the paper recycling, we've just got mounds and mounds of cardboard and paper. And it bothers me. I really, ideally, I would like to, you've got this thing and it needs to be on the fabric. So why do we have to go to paper in the middle? Why can't we go from the document to the fabric?
Yeah, I mean, and we did discover some ways to go about it, but it's very intensive. The setup isn't exactly cheap.
Yeah,
and it's quite labor intensive. And there are some necessities that many people might not have.
Yeah, I want to be able to do it from your phone. I want there to be an app, and you click on the app and it projects. But phones, I suppose a phone has a light on it, but phones don't really project.
No, they don't.
But Apple needs to get on it with the projection. So start that, Apple, and then maybe I will forgive you for the rest of the shit.
So what else new do we have coming? We just talked about we talked about revising the downloadables.
Yeah, so they're called Quick Print. So we're calling it Quick Print.
Right.
And most of our website is quick printable now.
Right.
And most of Etsy, I haven't yet done every single pattern, but perhaps by the time this podcast goes out, I'll have done every single pattern. I have like 2 more sections to do, but they're the big ones.
Right.
So Quick Print is the thing. And again, if you want the full size print shop, take it to a print shop version.
Yeah, sure.
Just email me
We'll get
And
it to you. We'll get it to you.
yeah. And if you message me on Etsy, realize I can't attach it to a message. You have to email me. So email me at info@reconstructinghistory.com and I will email you the full-size files upon request.
And that's great, because when you email the full-size files, you also ship a document that gives permission, because some print shops will be like, no, I'm not touching that. But here, look, it's a license. It lets me print a copy for myself. So that'll be helpful.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and don't screw me up. Don't print 20 and start selling them yourself. I'll be really pissed off if you do that.
Yeah, that'd be bad. That would be bad. No one.
And if you see someone doing that, rat them out.
Yes, please. No, we've never had that. Our customers are too cool for that.
I've had people contact me and say, somebody's selling your printers somebody's selling your patterns without authorization on Etsy or eBay or something. And then I go to Etsy or eBay and I find it's someone who has legitimately bought patterns from us, like a wholesale customer who has also an Etsy site in addition to their normal website, or who also sells on eBay.
Yeah.
In addition to their normal site. But it's really lovely that our customers are like, somebody is selling your patterns without authorization. I'm like, no, they have my authorization. I have blessed them. They paid me. They're allowed. So that's cool.
It's nice of people to look out for us.
I really am grateful that people keep us in mind and realize that, this is our business. This is our income.
Mm-hmm.
This is our livelihood. And that if somebody prints a bunch of our patterns and sells them, without paying us anything, that's stealing from my pocket.
Yeah.
And it sucks. But I don't think anybody's doing that. And
no, I've never seen someone pirate our stuff. And that's good. That's good. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Hopefully it never happens. God, I just thought of something that I wanted to talk about, and it's gone right out of my head.
There's always next week.
There is always next week, but it just wasn't that big. Obviously, I'm working on made-to-measure stuff. I'm doing men's patterns right now, men's vintage era stuff. So
yeah, you're made-to-measuring. You're working on that stuff, like waistcoat, or vest.
Yeah. Basically the lounge suit, the 914, 928, 911, 919.
Lincoln Attile.
Yeah. Lincoln.
But yeah, you're working on MTM for that. That's good. You're compartmentalizing your time.
Mm-hmm. Made to measure customers. There are those of you who ordered the made to measure pre-order way back in February, and way back in February, and are waiting for me to get around to doing your patterns. If you ordered 017, 002, 101, 201, 943, 1008, 942, 203, 711, 833. I have sent you an email asking you for your measurements. And everyone who has sent me measurements, their patterns are on the way. There are those of you who I asked a month ago, at least, for their measurements for the thing they ordered in February, who have not responded. Now, I will wait as long as you want to take your measurements and make your pattern. I'm not going to say this person doesn't want a pattern. I'm not going to throw it away. I'm not going to say, oh, you've come to me, it's 2035 and you want a pattern. No, you paid for a pre-order. You're going to get a pattern. But if you really do want it now, you need to send me measurements, because I'm stuck. I can't
So
do it.
check your spam. Everyone who's done a pre-order. If you ordered a pre-order made to measure, doesn't matter what the title is, check your spam, check your inbox for a message from, did you send it from info or from historian?
It's from info. And it will be in the same thread because when you made your order, I messaged you all, I emailed you all from info and asked you, what is your choice? What do you want me to make for you so that I can put things in order? And so if you responded and told me what pattern number you wanted, and the pattern number you wanted was included in that bunch that I just mentioned, which is also, if you forget what I just said, and I'll put it in the comments in the YouTube video.
In the doobly-doo.
In the doobly-doo. But also, if you go on our website and click on the made to measure section, that's all the patterns that are now available as made to measure. So if back in March, when I sent you an email and said, which one do you want? If one of the ones you wanted is on the made to measure section live now, and you haven't given me your measurements, I'm just waiting for you. And I will have responded to the email where you said, oh, I want a 943, please.
Yep.
So,
check your inbox, check your spam folders, get your friend with the tape, the measuring tape, who knows how to take measurements. And if all else fails, go down to your local, chances are you have someplace near you that does alterations.
Yep, go to a dry cleaner. Dry cleaner will either do alterations or will know someone to send you to.
Yeah. And that person will have a tape measure, take your list of the measurements required. And I'm sure they'll be happy to help.
Yeah. And note that the measurements required aren't necessarily the measurements you're used to taking.
Right.
Because I've worked out a couple different things that I do differently so that I can get a better fit.
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, the message is, if you ordered a made to measure pattern,
yes,
and you either haven't heard from Cass or you haven't gotten Cass your measurements, look through your inbox, look through your spam folder, and
and if you have gotten an email from me asking for your measurements and you just haven't sent them yet, if you could send me an email and go, hey, Cass, life is crazy, I just didn't do it yet, that's fine. I will literally wait forever.
Oh yeah, because we both, you and I both have done things where, I should say Cass and I both have done things where it's like, I want to have this pair of trousers made, but it'd be nice to lose 15 pounds first.
Yeah.
So if that's what you're waiting for, awesome. You have our full support. We're pulling for you. We're in your corner.
Yep.
Here, have a rice cake.
Yeah.
Rice cake. Do people even do that anymore for weight loss and dieting?
I think you're dating yourself. You're really dating yourself, the rice cakes.
But the point is, let us know. We'd like to know, so that, because we don't want, the last thing we want to do is let any one of you hanging.
Yeah. And I don't want to bother you. I don't want to go, hey, get to it, because people's lives are busy. And if this isn't, if you don't want this next week, and it doesn't matter to you, you're willing to wait. Well, I'm perfectly willing to wait, but I'd like to know that I'm waiting and that you haven't forgotten about it, or that you never got the message in the first place. So people should really have gotten these emails because, like I said, I'm responding to a thread where I was talking to the person already. So, it shouldn't suddenly be in their spam filter.
Yeah, but spam folders do weird things, man.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, honestly,
I've had stuff that came through for ages suddenly start. I'm like, why haven't I gotten an email from that in a while? And then I go and I look through my spam folder, and sure enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, so if you pre-ordered a made to measure pattern back in February when we did our big promotion, and it's one of the ones that are now live as MTM, drop me an email and say, was I supposed to do something? And I mean, honestly, even if you don't know which one you ordered or whatever.
Yeah.
I have a
We
couple
do.
people.
We do.
Yeah.
So if you can't remember, drop us a line and
And
we'll figure it out.
change your minds because the pre-order back in February wasn't specific. So it was
Right.
just like, we're having a sale, give me some money and I'll do a thing for you later.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I had one woman who was like,
Right.
At the time I wanted this, but now the thing that you just advertised today is much more appealing. So, I switched her order to the newer thing.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Right. Also, people who have ordered a made to measure pattern through the website and have not heard from me to get measurements. I have sent emails to everyone who's ordered a made to measure pattern to ask for measurements. So if you're sitting there going, how do I get this measurement thing done? Because you haven't gotten an email, please email info@reconstructinghistory.com because clearly my email didn't go to you. And I don't know how to solve that.
Hotmail is especially, Hotmail hates our domain name.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Hotmail doesn't work for us. Hotmail bounces everything. Like you won't even get it in your spam folder. It just won't connect. And this is the annoying part of needing to speak to customers because sometimes people type in email addresses that have a typo. And sometimes people type in false email addresses because they don't want us to harvest their email and send them spam.
Because that's what we do.
Which we never do. No, I've had a couple people order downloads where they don't even put their name on it. So it says nothing in the name section. And then in the country section, it says NA because you can do that.
Really?
I still know your name and your country because PayPal or the credit card company that I use tell me who you are because you can't pay anonymously.
Right.
So I still know who you are. You can't hide from me. And it kind of depresses me a little bit when somebody orders and they don't put a name in there. I'm like, you don't want me to know you.
Right.
And that makes me very sad.
Don't give Cass a sad.
Don't give me a sad. I have a sad. And because
she blubs.
Yeah.
People, she blubs. And I don't. I've only been back, 2 weeks?
I don't blub. Least likely person to blub. But no, it does make me feel like, I don't know, people. If you've never ordered from us before, if you never come into contact with us before, I suppose there's no reason why you should think that we're not going to harvest your emails or something, but we aren't.
No.
And the reality is, if you bought a download, you have to put in the right email address so that you get the download email. And if you've put in a faulty email address, you're not going to get your downloads.
Yep.
So, don't.
How about that?
Just tell me who you are, and and because that way, when you say I'm having a problem, I'll go, oh, you're the person who ordered that, and I'll know who you are.
We can fix it. Yeah. Otherwise, we can't really fix it.
Yeah. It makes me undescribably sad to see an order come in with no name on it. It just makes me very sad. So don't make me sad. I want to know you guys.
Let's talk about happy news then, because there's a lot of sad, and there. I don't know. At time of recording, the areas south and east of us are suffering devastating flooding. Friends of ours who live on the Moss have had to evacuate and go up north to their parents, Rob's parents' place, until they get the all clear to go home. And they just moved into that house.
Yeah. And the strangest thing is that, the Netherlands, it means the Low Countries after all. The Netherlands, the lowest part of the Low Countries, the part that is below sea level, is not flooding.
No, it's absolutely fine. Because it's the bit that's near Germany in what passes for mountains.
Yeah, it's the hilly bit, Limburg. It's the hilly bit that's getting flooded because, what runs through Limburg, but the Maas.
Yeah, the Maas, that's important. It's a big old river.
Yeah, it's a big old river, and normally it behaves itself.
But the good news is we are fine. Reconstructing history is absolutely A-okay.
Yeah. We had a lot of rain.
I'm going to put a link. There'll be a tile with the link in it and the doobly-doo from our local provincial news organization about a very happy story about a cow.
Oh, the cow.
Yes.
The cow.
And
poor cow.
I hope it brightens your day like it brightened mine when I saw it last night.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely thing. And
no cows were harmed in the making of this video.
Quite the contrary.
A cow was saved. Yeah.
Yes, but that's a good news thing. I mean, it's a horrible, horrible situation. Many hundreds, thousands displaced, tens of thousands evacuated and displaced.
Like 100 people died in Germany.
Yeah, and just nuts. Entire villages were washed away from flash floods in Germany. It's a terrible thing.
But, Netherlands, we do floods. We do flood mitigation. We do. We're
pretty well.
really good.
I mean, we're soggy. Mm-hmm. We're damp and we're soggy. But we're usually damp and soggy, but we're just a little more damp and soggy because we didn't get the torrential rains for days and days and days and days and days. We got rain.
We got Remember, you had to stop recording. You were working on an audiobook and you had to stop recording a couple times because the rain was so heavy. Yeah. The rain was so heavy on the roof of your studio.
Yeah. But we didn't get the 200 millimeters in overnight.
No, because we're sensible. We're sensible people.
Yeah, the 20 centimeters of rain overnight, that's what happened in Germany and did all the damage.
Yeah.
But then it all came down into the Maas.
Yeah.
And now the Maas is flooding, and I just hope to God that Rob and Miriam's place didn't suffer any damage.
Oh, I'm absolutely certain that their place is fine. I think the reason they evacuated them was because if you have to go in and shore up a river, you can't have people in the way.
Oh yeah.
So I think it was less, let's get you out of here because it's dangerous for you to be here, and more, let's get you out of here so you're out of the way because we're going to have to fix things.
You're very likely correct. At any rate, it's everything. We're all safe. And we're handling it.
And yesterday was, it's been raining and cold. Like it hasn't been summer here at all.
Right.
And yesterday was beautiful, sunny, not a cloud in the sky.
Yep. 26 degrees.
26 degrees, like 80 degrees.
Yeah, that's 80 for you.
Yep.
Imperials.
I washed my car and we went driving around with the top down for the first time in months and months.
Since last summer, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, since last summer, of course. And and today we're probably gonna end this podcast and go out for a drive.
Oh, you think?
I think because it's Sunday and it's sunny and
Sunday fun day.
Yeah, and I really need the vitamin D because I'm like the palest person ever. I'm not the palest person ever because I live in the Netherlands. There are many, many more paler people than me, but
So that's about the size of it for this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's all I got.
To recap, we've got the quick print stuff is almost entirely complete. Easy for you to use, even with your Macintosh. Mm-hmm. Cass is working on made to measure for men's, but that'll be new. If you ordered a made to measure pre-order and haven't heard from Cass or haven't got back to her about your measurements, please do. And
if you've ordered a made to measure not pre-order, if you ordered a made to measure since the products have gone live and have not gotten back to me with measurements, please let me know that you're delaying for some reason.
Please communicate with us. If you ordered a made to measure and have not yet received it, please communicate with us. Let's just keep it simple. Mm-hmm. And we're okay with
high and dry
flooding.
Not so high, not really high.
We're a
Low and
whole.
dry.
I checked the other day, and Veldhoven, the village in which we live, is a full 22 meters above sea level.
22 meters.
Yep.
That's very high. That's
It
like a
is.
mountain.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Well, the highest point in our province is 44 meters.
We've been up it.
We have climbed that peak.
We have climbed that peak. We had Sherpa to take us up there.
Did we put that on YouTube? We should put
no,
a link.
that was on Facebook. I don't even know if I could download the files, but
anyway, that's it from here at the headquarters of Reconstructing History. And as always, this like, subscribe, little bell thing, do the like thing. It really helps convince the algorithm that we're interesting. present evidence notwithstanding. And the whole, if you like it, you subscribe, it helps us figure out what you like so we can continue to create content that you enjoy.
Yep.
And ringing the little bell lets you know when we have something new for you to enjoy.
And new content coming soon. I think in our last podcast, we promised that we were working on new content.
We are working on new content.
We are working on new content, but I'm also working on the quick print downloads and the made to measure patterns and the new. God. So
lots of exciting stuff coming, ladies and gents. So that means we're going to stop talking and get back to work. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again very soon.
Bye.